From Jerusalem, the Israeli Education Minister, Naftali Bennett, who's leader of the right-wing Jewish Home Party, and from Jericho, Saab Caricat. He is the chief Palestinian negotiator and chair of the PLO Executive Committee. Gentlemen, welcome both to the program. I do actually want to ask you both the question. Did you see anything new, Saab Caricat? I know that you've condemned the speech. I know that there was an enormous amount of criticism from yourself and the Arab leaders. But the president committed to a two-state solution and said actually it's up to you parties to decide the sovereignty and the lines about Jerusalem.
Hi, Christian. Yes, I think President Trump is in total violation, first of all, of international law and with agreements signed. Agreement signed with the government of Israel in 1995, interim agreement specified that no side should take any action that may preempt or prejudge issues reserved for permanent status, mentioning Jerusalem. So tonight, when the President of the United States announces that his dictation that Jerusalem is the capital of Israel, changing the historic, economic, political facts of life about the Muslim, Christian, belonging to Jerusalem, I think he is disqualifying his country for any possible role in the peace process whatsoever. He received phone calls from the King of Saudi Arabia, King of Jordan, President of Egypt, King of Morocco, President Abbas, others in the Arab world, and he undermined all of them. He is really undermining all moderates in the region, and I think he's crowning extremists in the region, those who don't believe in the two-state solution, those who don't believe in the Palestinian people. And I believe that President Abbas will call for an emergency meeting for the Palestine Central Council in order to study this dangerous speech and its implications and take the proper decisions for it.
All right.
I believe the only option a Christian left for Palestinians tonight is to fight and struggle for equal rights from the River Jordan to the Mediterranean. I think Judaism, Christianity, and Islam are God's great religion. Jews, Muslims, and Christians should live equally in this country, in this territory. And I believe he's praising Israel, democracy, and so on. And he knows very well the kind of apartheid system Israel practices on 5 million Palestinians in the West Bank and Gaza on a daily basis.
Well,
and maybe 80% of Palestinians could not get to the church or the mosque in Jerusalem since 1967 till now.
Okay, so let me put that, Saab Caricat, to Naftali Bennett. You've raised a lot of issues, saying that not many people like the two-state solution. You don't like the two-state solution, Naftali Bennett. Do you think that what President Trump said, despite the fact that he recommitted America to the two-state solution, do you believe that tonight killed that off or not?
Well, first of all, I want to congratulate President Trump. I think December 6th of 2017 will go down in history as a great day, a day where the world made a big step forward in recognizing the obvious, that the city of Jerusalem has always been and will always be the capital of Israel. I also think, though, it's a good step forward towards peace. Perhaps in the short term, we may see some friction, as Caricat indicated, but in the long term, we all know that never could you achieve peace that's predicated on dividing Jerusalem. Mm-hmm. And in a sense, by setting that aside, by calling a spade, that Jerusalem will always be Israel's capital, now we can get down to the real business of bringing upon us peace.
All right,
finally,
Naftali Bennett, let me ask you this.
By Arikat's, yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you, but I do have to ask you, are you convinced that he said Jerusalem is only Israel's capital? I didn't hear that. And he actually said that the boundaries of the sovereignty of the claims to Jerusalem are yet to be worked out as part of a final agreement. I didn't hear him say that it was not the Palestinians' capital as well.
Well, he had to say that, but everyone knows that Jerusalem is Jerusalem. The municipal boundaries of Jerusalem are very clear. They include the entire holy city, old city of Jerusalem, Temple Mount, Mount of Olives, Mount Scopus, etc. So that's pretty clear to everyone. I think, though, there's a big opportunity here, and I would expect that the Palestinians, or hope that this time they don't use this opportunity to blow the opportunity. And the opportunity is to sit down and speak truth. And, for the past 25 years, we've been failing peace precisely because it's been predicated on putting fences in the heart of Jerusalem. That's not going to happen, and now we can do peace.
All right. What do you say to that, Saab Arikat? Obviously, the president said the same thing. It's time to try something new, and this is an opportunity. Did you hear any new ideas from the president on peace? And also, just on Jerusalem, did you hear him say it wasn't for the Palestinians as well?
Well, Christian, I think ignoring facts don't mean they don't exist. Israelis like Mr. Bennett and others may dictate because they have the occupying power, they have the military power. They may seek to have one state, two systems, which is apartheid. Mr. Bennett knows it very well, the way we are treated. And the fact of life is here. I'm trying to make peace with the Israelis. I have recognized Israel's right to exist on the 1967 lines. I have accepted a Palestinian state with East Jerusalem as capital to live side by side the state of Israel in peace and security. Mr. Netanyahu, Mr. Bennett, Mr. Lieberman have done everything humanly possible to destroy the two-state solution. Okay, you did it. You succeeded. And you said December 6, 2017. Can you close your eyes for 30 seconds and walk me from the River Jordan to the Mediterranean in 10 years from now? What do you see? It's the deepest apartheid system there is on earth. And I think President Trump tonight made the biggest mistake of his life. Because instead of encouraging the parties to sit together, the parties to put all core issues, including Jerusalem, on the table and negotiate in good faith, he dictates. Had it ever happened in history of mankind where a president of a foreign country decided the capital of other nation? And how about Palestinian, sovereign rights in occupied East Jerusalem? All right. Which is in violation of international law. You heard what the Secretary General of the United Nations said. You heard what France said, China, Russia, Africa, Asia. No one will follow the steps of President Trump. President Trump has taken this hasty decision. I think it's a total mistake, and it would lead to a total disaster in pushing these regions toward chaos and lawlessness.
So the UN Secretary General,
at the expense of moderates like us.
The UN Secretary General, the President of France, did, Mr. Bennett, reaffirm the international law on Jerusalem and on a final peace settlement. So I do want to ask you the question that Saab Arikat has raised. Without a two-state solution and an equitable solution to Jerusalem for all sides, you face a one-state solution, don't you? As Saab Arikat said, from the River Jordan to the Mediterranean. That means that either you're going to be a divided state without equal rights, or you're going to have a demographically, minority state for the Jewish people. Are you not concerned about that?
Quite the contrary. First of all, it seems that the Palestinians are going to miss an opportunity yet again, like they did in 1948, where they were offered a Palestinian state and declined and instead started a war. And they're paying the price to this very day, and it seems that they're hell-bent on doing that again. As respect to apartheid, I just want to point out, because I'm not sure your viewers know, we have a Supreme Court justice, which is Arab. We have Arab members of Knesset. Israel has a full equal rights here. The Palestinians have a state in Gaza, a full-blown state, which we handed over to Mahmoud Abbas in 2005, and they turned it into a terror state. We're not about to create a second Palestinian state in the heart of Israel.
But I do have to put this to you, Mr. Bennett. I do have to put this to you. I hear what you're saying, but your own military and intelligence people say that the continued occupation of the West Bank is the biggest existential threat to you, Israel, as a Jewish state. So let me play what one of your recent officials has said about that, the former head of Mossad.
The Jewish state faces one existential threat. Israel is sitting on a bomb that has been ticking incessantly and for some time now. Yet for some reason, we have chosen to bury our heads in the sand, feeding ourselves alternative facts to run away from reality, while creating various and varied external threats.
So that's the issue. Mr. Bennett, I need 30 seconds from you and then 30 seconds from Mr. Caricat.
We've been hearing these threats for 70 years now, and throughout these threats, Israel has grown stronger, bigger GDP. We're exporting medicine, health, food, technology all across the world, doing good. We're the only democracy, true democracy in the Middle East. So, I'm fed up with all these horror stories. We're building a strong state. We want to have peace with our neighbors. It has to be equitable and based on the Palestinian state that exists already in Gaza and self-governance in Judea and Samaria. I'm convinced that this day will bring us forward towards peace.
And Saab Arikat, does the Palestinian Authority have a plan to take this forward? What are you going to do? How are you going to convert what happened tonight?
Well, I believe in the face of what Mr. Bennett is saying about no Palestinian state. I told him we recognized Israel. He even cannot say Palestine or state of Palestine. He said that no Palestinian state. And at the same time, I really think that Palestinians, this is my personal opinion, should focus on struggling for equal rights from the River Jordan to the Mediterranean. Tonight, President Trump is trying to change the conflict from a political one to religious one. Judaism, to me, is one of God's great religions, like Christianity, like Islam. And I think we should focus on from the River Jordan to the Mediterranean in one state, equal rights, civil rights, and that's the only way out because of the actions of people like Bennett, who undermined the two-state solution, who chose settlements and not peace, and who chose dictation rather than negotiation because he speaks about Israel's strength, exports, and so on. What was South Africa in 1985?
All right.
Wasn't it the strongest nation in Africa, the biggest export, the biggest so on? What happened to apartheid? Apartheid is nowhere. It's failure, and it will fail.
All right, Saab Caricat. I've heard you. So
Don't miss this opportunity.
And Naftali Bennett, it is obviously a seriously contentious issue which will have a lot of ramifications. Thank you both for joining us from Jericho and from Jerusalem tonight.